Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there, enjoying your day, making it wonderful, making a wonderful hump day. You know what I'm saying? We are just now over the hump, or at least in my neck of the woods. We're over the hump of the day. Now we're getting towards the end of the week. You know, we're going downhill now, and I'm sure a lot of us are very excited about that piece of information, that we're getting that much closer to the weekend. But hopefully you guys all had a really good one, a good Tuesday yesterday. I was a little busy, so I missed you guys yesterday. But had some things I had to take care of, some very important things, which hopefully I'll be able to break with you guys or tell you guys that information a little bit later on this week. But regardless, feels good to be back. Feels good to be back in this purple-ish room. I will say that too. So missed all you guys, and I hope you guys are having a great one. But we got to get into some things, guys. We got some conversations we got to jump into. This is something very interesting, this piece of information. Could this be a JDAH 2.0 situation that we're looking at? Or no? There are some very interesting allegations that are being brought out against Mr. Brad Pitt. Angelina Jolie has now made some allegations towards Brad Pitt that are surprising. And I know a lot of us have already heard about these allegations, but now there's more information. And also Brad Pitt has spoken out and has responded, revolving around these allegations that have been set upon his head about the infamous drunken flight that he, Angelina, and I'm trying to understand, but all 6 of their kids were on the plane too, I think. We're going to get into all that today. We got to talk about it for show. It's very interesting. And I know that I'm already seeing in the comments, already in the chat, some of y'all are already team Brad Pitt. Some people may be team Jolie. We don't know. I don't know. All I know is this is a very, very interesting series of events, and we could be looking at a future Depp versus Heard 2.0. Anyway, let's jump into this. Before we get everything going, though, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Send it past 100 likes really quick. That would really, really mean a lot. You know, it'd be nice to have those likes. So hit those like buttons, because we're going to get into this thing for sure. Send it past 100. Shoot. Send it past 200 likes. I know a bunch of you guys are starting to file in. Okay? Probably rubbing the sleep out of your eyes and all that. And of course, if you haven't done that yet and you're watching this show for the very first time, welcome to the Pascal Show. Crush that subscribe button. All right? Be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. And for those of y'all who like variety in your news, okay, from a channel, I talk about everything from true crime, pop culture, controversy, you name it. We talk about it right here on the Pascal Show. So let's jump into this thing, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. Marching our way towards 100,000 subscribers. It's been an amazing ride thus far. And I've been enjoying telling you guys and talking to you guys about these stories. Now, what's interesting is what's been blowing my mind is that there has been this story or this situation that's been looming over our heads. And I feel like we're starting to march towards the ultimate moment here very, very shortly between Angelina Jolie and Mr. Brad Pitt. Now, of course, arguably two of Hollywood's most very, very good-looking people. All right. very, very good looking people got together, fell in love on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And now, of course, now this relationship has ended in a very, I mean, it's over now. He's obviously moved on. I'm assuming she has moved on as well. But now there are accusations, very, very, these are some serious accusations that Angelina Jolie is making on Brad Pitt. Now, I know some of us have already been covering this. Some YouTube channels as well have covered, broad strokes, if not very detailed strokes of this particular thing. But I figured, you know what, this is something we should talk about, and I want to talk about it with my fam. So we're going to talk about it today. But Angelina has now come out with these details of these allegations of DV, let's just say that. One of them has to do with inside of a plane. So I guess it's aviation violence. I don't know, because it's not like they were inside the domicile. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of, you get my drift. You get what I'm saying. But the accusations here are very, very serious, mind-blowing, jaw-dropping, and makes you scratch your head. So let's get into this, shall we? Now, Angelina details allegations, because I can't say that word, okay? But allegations against Brad Pitt in countersuits. So, in court papers related to a legal battle over a French winery they once owned together, she claims that he was a to her and their children during a 2016 plane ride. Now, a lot of us already know a piece of this plane ride situation, which we are going to get into very much. But now this stuff is starting to come out more in the forefront. People are talking about this more. The newspapers and the tabloids and all that stuff are really going to town on this situation. But still, my question is Angelina Jolie lying? It's weird to me. Before we continue in this article, it's even weird for me to say that out loud. That this is even happening between these two celebrities. And the fact that I'm even saying, is she lying, is kind of, makes me scratch my head. Let's just say that. Never have I ever thought I'd be covering a story like this and conversating about this, but nonetheless, we are here. And these allegations are very, very real. So let's get into this article. Angelina Jolie filed a cross complaint against her ex-husband, Brad Pitt, on Tuesday, disclosing new details about what she described in court papers a behavior by him on a private plane in 2016 that led to the dissolution of their marriage. So literally 2016, this plane ride was the straw that broke the camel's back. This destroyed everything for these two. Okay? So, in a court filing in Los Angeles, filed as part of a legal battle over a winery the prominent Hollywood actors once owned together, the lawyers for Jolie stated that negotiations to sell her share of the business to Pitt had broken down over his demand that she sign a non-disclosure agreement that would have contractually prohibited her from speaking outside of court about Pitt's physical and emotional of her and their children. So this is very interesting. Like, this piece of information right here says a lot. If this is absolutely true, okay, this piece of information is big. For her to sit here and say they were having a legal battle over their winery in France. Isn't that funny? We're having an argument over our winery in France. Who gets half? Who gets what half? You know what I mean? Or who gets the whole thing, right? So they're having an argument, or they're trying to figure out negotiations over this over this winery. And he basically says you need to sign a non-disclosure agreement that would stop her from being able to speak bad on his name out here in these streets. If she were to ever get out here in these streets and actually talk about these things, which obviously she already been done. Okay. She already been doing that. All right. She's clearly been doing that. So clearly she has not signed this non-disclosure agreement, this NDA. But if she was to sign this non-disclosure agreement, she wouldn't be able to say anything, speak out if she is a victim or a survivor of DV, which is very interesting, which could maybe inspire her to speak out even more. Oh, you don't want me to talk about what happened between you and me? Oh, au contraire, mon frère. Get it? Because it's a French winery. Au contraire, mon frère. I'm going to do the exact opposite. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening right now. But then again, I will say this too. Just on the other side of the fence, I've heard of other celebrity or public figure celebrity, couples, when they end their relationships, they even sign NDAs then too, because they don't want that ex talking bad on their name, regardless if that person put their hands on them or not. It could have just been that the girl cheated or he cheated, whatever. A lot of times they'll sit there and go, we just don't want to talk bad blood on each other because we both have a brand, we both have images to uphold. So here's this NDA, sign it. We don't speak ill on each other. We don't speak bad about each other. Agreed? Agreed. Okay, relationship was good, but kick rocks. Bye. You know what I'm saying? I just saw Rosewood say this. Exactly, Rosewood. Okay, Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes signed one, I'm sure. Yes, absolutely, I'm sure they did. Abso-freaking-lutely. You don't hear her say anything on her speaking bad. She does not really speak ill on Tom Cruise's name. Okay? Just saying. Albus, I got a super chat, so real quick. Albus, thank you so much for the 100. I appreciate you, Albus. Welcome to the show, everybody. Again, hit that like button down below. Send it past 200 likes really quick. Don't forget to do that, all right? And let's get it cracking. But he says, welcome to the family, Tyler Hackner. We missed you for 20 minutes. You were gone. LOL. That's funny. No, but Tyler never left. He was just playing. Guys. But it's very interesting, right? Just depending on who that person is, what kind of relationship they're having with somebody, so on and so forth, they're going to sit there and go, hey, we can't, I don't need you talking ill on my name when I'm trying to build my career, me as a person, and what I do out here in the public streets. If you speak ill on my name, or if I'm the one who did something bad as far as cheated on you or something like that, I don't need all of our dirty laundry out here in these streets for everyone to judge you and me. So let's sign this. Let's agree to sign each other's NDAs, and we just amicably walk away from the relationship and call it a day. So that could also be it too. Doesn't mean that that's automatically meaning that he really did these things. But then again, could also mean he did. We can't rule that out. Cannot rule that out. And if he did do this thing, real quick before we continue, and if he did do said physical and emotional things as she has claimed, him going up to her and saying, hey, I need you to sign this because I don't need you going out here talking ill on me on things that I've done or the bad things that have happened behind closed doors between you and me, that could definitely spark that rage or spark that passion to actually go and do the exact opposite and start squawking. So, got to play both sides of the fence on this one. Okay. And again, please comment down below, or comment in the chat. Let me know what you think. Okay. Because I'd love to know what you think on this. Are you do you think she's lying? Do you think she's just making this up? Do you think that maybe she is a disgruntled ex-wife or a disgruntled ex that just wants a little bit more vengeance because she maybe doesn't feel like she got enough? I don't know. Something about this doesn't seem right. Something about this seems strange. And I have many questions on both sides of the spectrum. So that's why I'm going to try to stay as middle in this situation as I can, because I'm still learning more about this, but I'm playing both sides of the fence, asking many, 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 many questions because I got a lot of them. Okay, guys? And I think a lot of you guys do too. So let's continue. Her finally goes on to describe an extended physical and verbal outburst in September 2016 as Mr. Pitt, Miss Jolie, and their 6 children. So the 6 children were on that plane flying from France to California. Pitt, of course, I got to use these code words, but Pitt, and I'll highlight this so you guys can see this. Okay. But these are the allegations. Pitt wrapped his hands around the neck of one of the children, also struck another one in the face. He grabbed Jolie by the head and shook her. This is what the filings have stated, adding that at one point, he poured beer on Jolie. At another, he poured beer and wine on the children. Indeed. That is a very interesting allegation. It is extremely detailed. Extremely detailed. But now we live in this world now. We got JD versus AH. We saw saw everything. We saw that trial. We watched it unfold in front of us. There were some very violent, very detailed-esque allegations and stories about what JD did to AH. Remember all that? Shoot, remember the bottle? Remember the maker's bottle? Remember that? Remember that? It was very detailed, very specific. Of course, there was no evidence to prove such thing, but AH did put out that information, right? So, you see this right here. She's coming out with, and this has been, like I said, this is still something we've heard a million times already. We've heard these allegations before. This is the first time I'm talking about it on the show, but we've seen this in articles and magazine headlines, etc. So this is something that's just kind of old news, but just so that you're savvy, this is what's going on. These are the allegations. He wrapped his hands around one of the kids, one of the kids' necks, struck another in the face, then grabbed Jolie by the head and shook her. Then adding at one point, he poured beer on Jolie. I don't know why. Was she twerking? Like, were they at the club? I'm confused. Was he making it rain? I'm so confused why he would pour beer on Jolie. Then, and another, he poured beer and wine on the children. And of course, there's other allegations as well of him saying certain things, saying things about one of the kids, etc., which we will get into more detail here in a little bit. But these are the allegations that are coming out here. So, federal authorities who have jurisdiction over flights investigated the incident, but declined to bring criminal charges. Days after the plane trip, Miss Jolie filed for divorce. Interesting. A lawyer for Mr. Pitt said that Mr. Pitt had accepted responsibility for some things in his past, but that he would not accept responsibility for the things he did not do. Now, the question is he saying, yes, I've been put my hands on my children and my wife, but not this time. Yeah, I lashed out and I lost my cool a couple times, but never on a plane. Just saying. I mean, look at that. Look at that right here. He has accepted responsibility for the things in his past, but that he would not accept responsibility for things he did not do. What do you think that means, peoples? To me, that translates as, okay, I done did some bad things that may have been in front of my children and may have been bad towards Angelina. But I will not take that flight from France to California. No, I did not do that. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. Now, I will say this too. Just because he was a stoner, okay? He's a smoker. He's a midnight toker. And then maybe he liked to drink. Because, you know, we've seen his, there was a Vanity Fair, if I'm correct, interview that he did with Vanity Fair where he was like, there was a good long time in my life, good portion of my life where I was just stoned the entire time, where I was constantly drinking. He's like, this has been the first time in a long time I've been sober. I remember that like the back of my head. No, you know, back of my hand, because I've never seen the back of my head. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But who's to say if he was so drunk and so stoned or both that, you know what I'm saying? You know, if he's out smoking weed every day, if he's out here doing that, maybe his memory's a little foggy, a little smoked up. I'm just saying. Like I said, I got to throw these questions out. I'm neither Team Pitt nor Jolie. I'm just asking the questions, the much needed questions right now, babies. And the question is, he's taking responsibility for things he's done in his past, which kind of means like, I didn't do that time though. Wait. But that time I didn't do it. But I did it every other time, which is weird. But his attorney also said that during divorce settlement negotiations this year, which were separate from the negotiations over the winery, a lawyer for Miss Jolie had sent Mr. Pitt's lawyers a proposal to try to settle the case. And that one of the preliminary proposals had been a stipulation that neither party could make a derogatory comment about the other in public except in court. Well, I don't think that's working anymore. Don't you think? His attorney also said, Mr. Pitt's side agreed to discuss the term. But when Jolie's side responded, she did not bring up the non-disparagement proposal again. Because she probably changed her mind. She probably was like, I don't need to hide behind this. I need to stand in front, stand by it, stand on top of it, shout it from a mountain, okay? That this man has done some terrible things to me. At least this is what I feel like what she's thinking in her head. Like I said, I'm not clairvoyant. I can't read her mind, but I'm assuming she may have said, "Nah, I'm not with that anymore." My version of what has happened needs to get out here. Because maybe Angelina Jolie believes that she is a victim. Clearly, she believes that she's a survivor of this situation. At least this is what she's putting out here in these streets. Again, I ask you, is this a JDAH situation again? Or no? There's more. The decoupling of Miss Jolie and Mr. Pitt has stretched on for years. Yeah, so 6 years and counting. Drawn out by a court battle for custody of their children, and more recently, a lawsuit instigated by Mr. Pitt over the French winery Chateau Merival. Okay, Chateau Merival, that the couple bought more than a decade ago. Mr. Pitt's lawsuit, filed this year, accused his wife of violating his contractual rights when she sold her half of the company to a subsidiary of Stoli Group without his permission or without his approval. I'm sorry. And I would be upset about that too. Absolutely. Absolutely, I'd be upset. We built this thing together. We bought this, okay, together. We built this winery. We're doing this thing. And then all of a sudden you sell it to somebody else under my nose. Now there's another group, another company that owns half of the winery that I had dreams of doing something more with. That's some BS. I could see him getting upset about that. I feel like it's fairly petty types of action that's happening here. You know, little bits of petty types of action, but you know, when you have a scorned ex, people do things when they're scorned. People do things when they're very upset. It just depends on the level of pettiness that person is willing to go. Okay? But Stoli Group, yes. If I'm correct, that's a Russian Russian-owned company, if I'm correct. But that's something very interesting nonetheless. And I could be wrong about the who owns Stoli, but that's not what we're here for, right? Miss Jolie's cross complaint said she only sold her stake elsewhere after talks broke down over his demand for a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA. That makes no sense. So she sold this to be like a middle finger. Yo, she did this as a middle finger to him because he was like, so what about this NDA? Here you go, girl. Trying to pass that NDA across the table. And she's like, oh, you're not going to get, no. You want to do what? Well, I'm selling something. That's what you get. That's what it seems like. F you. I'm selling it. Bye. That's what it feels like. All because he said, so what about this NDA though? Because so we can not talk about what happened behind closed doors between you and me. You feel me? Because I'd hate for this to be in a tell-all memoir in the next couple years. So yeah, sup with that. Sign on the dotted line. Hancock. Thank you. And she's going, oh, hell no. And sold this ish. Interesting. Her filing states that the FBI agent who investigated allegations that Mr. Pitt physically attacked her, okay, and their children on the plane in 2016 had concluded that the government had probable cause to charge Pitt with a federal crime for his conduct that day. Let me repeat that one more time. Her filing, this is what, according to her filing, it states that a federal agent, an FBI agent, who investigated the allegations that Mr. Pitt physically attacked Miss Jolie and their children on the plane in 2016 had concluded that the government had probable cause to charge Pitt with a federal crime for his conduct that day. Then my question is this: why has he not been charged? If he has done something so bad, again, I'm just asking the questions. I'm not on anybody's side right here. All I'm asking is, if he has done said act, why has he not been hit with any type of charge thus far? There's probable cause to charge Pitt with a federal crime for his conduct that day. Why hasn't he been smashed with a charge? But this is according to what she has in her filings so far, okay? But a redacted FBI report on the case, which was reported on by several news outlets in August and later obtained by the New York Times, the article I'm reading right here, states that the agent provided the U.S. State's Attorney Office copies of a probable cause statement related to this incident. After reviewing the document, representative of the United States Attorney's Office discussed the merits of this investigation with the case agent, the report said. It was agreed by all parties that criminal charges in this case would not be pursued due to several factors. The FBI report described Ms. Jolie as, wait for it, conflicted on whether or not to be supportive of charges related to the case. Huh? Representatives from the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles declined to comment. She has gone to great lengths to try to shield their children from reliving the pain Pitt inflicted on the family that day. Ms. Jolie's lawyers wrote in a cross complaint. But when Pitt filed this lawsuit seeking to reassert control over Jolie's financial life and compel her to rejoin her ex-husband as a frozen out business partner, Pitt forced Jolie to publicly defend herself on these issues for the first time. That is interesting as well, because this is the information we never had before. So they're saying that Pitt filed this lawsuit seeking to reassert control over Jolie's financial life and compel her to rejoin her ex-husband as a frozen out business partner in the winery, I guess. But the one part I'm interested in, though, too, is the reassertion of control over her financial life is also a very interesting thing I'm trying to understand as well. What does that have to do with, like, why is that happening? Right? Because I have yet to hear anything about him trying to control her financials, right? Now, her being in this, her partnering with him with this winery that they bought together. Maybe he's trying to have more control over it. Maybe that's one of the pieces of the agreement in regards to the winery. But you just sell your piece without discussing it with your partner that you signed legal documents on, saying that this is my business partner. I think that's extremely strange. And yeah, I agree. This is a very toxic situation that's only gotten worse. It's only gotten worse. But it's so strange how they're just kind of going tit for tat in a way. But I will say this, though, too. When it came to AH and JD, there was a lot of back and forth. Obviously, there was information that we found out later when sealed documents were unsealed or released to the public. We went through a bunch of that as well as a family, talking about those things. But it's still extremely interesting how juvenile, okay, couples will get when it comes to a divorce. So yeah, it's very weird. But clearly, Earth just said, dude, Pitt isn't innocent either. He clearly is saying he's not. In my personal opinion. By him saying, yeah, I'll take responsibilities of things I've done in the past, but I will not take responsibility over this, makes it seem like, yeah, something's up. And Jay Cantor, yay, got your t-shirt merch, and it's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so happy that you enjoy the shirt and all that. Again, guys, go to pascalmerch.com or beautifulbeefcollections.com. You can get this very hoodie and many other things on the website right now. Go to pascalmerch.com or beautifulbeefcollections.com. We have a huge 20% off sale going on now until Friday night. The sale goes off. 20% off is going to be gone Friday night, just so that you guys know. Okay. Shameless plug. All right. Got to do that. And I will pin the link to the top of the chat right here. Okay, but anyway, so I'm glad you enjoy the shirt. Thank you so much for wearing it. Anyway, it is interesting how they are responding with each other, how they react with each other. It's interesting how much adults will turn into children when it comes to divorces. It seems like it's, especially when it's a relationship that does not separate in an amicable way. Clearly, this is one, we already know that, is one that has not, they did not separate in an amicable way. And they're trying now, both of them are trying to bury each other, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, in my personal opinion. But from what I'm seeing and from what the statements we've heard before already, this does sound to me like he's taking responsibility for certain things he's done, which could be him raising his hands on the children or on Angelina. But he's saying, hey, I didn't do that. Okay. Maybe. But let's continue. Now, okay, so I skipped a little bit. Okay, so continuing on here. All right, we already know, Pitt. So because of all this, okay, Jolie feels like she has to come out and quote unquote defend herself on these issues for the first time. It's not been the first time. We've been talking about this, okay, or at least the media, all right, has been covering the flight story, the 2016 flight issue for a minute now. But this is very interesting nonetheless. And now this woman, now Jolie, feels some type of way because he's going, I need to do this. I'm going to have control over that. I'm going to have control over this. But I also need you to, sign this NDA so you don't talk ish on me, though, at the same time. And it's at least this is what her attorneys are painting right now, that he is trying to take full control over everything. But then at the same time saying, but I don't want you to I want everything, but I also don't want you to talk bad on, speak ill on my name. You know what I mean? Keep my name out you. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, sign this NDA real quick. Appreciate it. Love you, honey. That's what it seems like. And of course she's going, oh, you want me to do what? You're taking all this ish. And then now you're saying I can't even have the freedom to talk ill on you? That ain't happening. That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. Let's continue, shall we? According to Miss Jolie's account of the 2016 flight, because there's more in this piece here, which is very interesting. All right. So her account of the 2016 flight in the court papers. The dispute began when Mr. Pitt accused Jolie of being too deferential to their children and then began yelling at her in the bathroom of the plane. We're going to get back to that piece here in a second. Allegedly, Pitt grabbed Jolie by the head and shook her, then grabbed her shoulders and shook her again before pushing her into the bathroom wall, the filing states. Pitt then punched the ceiling of the plane numerous times, prompting Jolie to leave the bathroom. Now, I want to circle around this a little bit, just for a little bit, okay? Now, I'm not a dude with a great deal of money. I don't live some crazy lavish life, nor have I ever flown on some private jet out here or a private plane. But the last I checked with these bathrooms, they be small, right? Or is it different with these planes, with these luxurious planes, where the bathroom isn't like the size of a thimble? You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I challenge. I don't know, because I've never been in these, this kind of, I've never been in this kind of bathroom in a luxurious plane. But I keep thinking that the plane's bathrooms are like this big, unless they're really small people. But I don't think they're small people. I mean, I'm 6'4". I'm a big dude. You know what I'm saying? I go into the bathroom, I'm like this. You know what I mean? I'm trying to take a leak, and it's like I got to do some crazy, like, I got to fold myself like origami just so I can take a leak like that, while the plane's ceilings over my head, like crushing my head. I'm just saying, are these bathrooms like that big that he would have room to do what she's that she's alleging? I'm just asking. I'm asking for a friend, okay? Because that seems like a lot. I mean, come on, let's keep it real too, y'all. Let me just say this too. All right. Anybody out here try to join the Mile High Club and actually try to do it in the bathroom of a plane? Have you ever been successful? Is it a successful lay? I'm asking. I'm being real. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to get it in this little tiny little cubicle thing. Like this thing is like this. You know what I'm saying? The room. I'm not saying the thing. You know what I mean? The bathroom. It's like this big. You know what I'm saying? You got two people in that room. It's not even a room. It's a shoebox. And she's saying that he did these things. Again, I know that's commercial flights. I'm speaking commercially. I'm speaking as an average Joe. All right. But at the same time, it seems strange that the bathroom would be gigantic like this to me. But I don't know any better on that part. I'm just asking the questions. Okay. All right. I'm 6'4". I'm a big guy. So, everyone's short to me, and every room is really small to me. So I guess that is my tragic flaw. Okay. But to me, I'm still looking at this and going, I don't know. I could see grabbing, like being in that room and the head, but the part of slamming her against the wall, I don't know. Like I said, slamming her against the wall, all that stuff just seems like she's already against the wall. It's this big. If you're in there, you're doing this, and her back's like flush up against the wall. If it's like the regular sized bathrooms that I know of. And no, I ain't talking about the bathrooms on Spirit, okay, or Frontier. I'm talking about America Airlines or JetBlue up in this biz naive. They still small, okay? All them luxury flight stuff, they still small, all right? Just saying. So to me, flush up against the wall. She's already against the wall. So that just doesn't make any sense to me, okay? But anyway, I could be completely wrong on that segment. But these are what she's alleging. He grabbed her by the head, shook her, grabbed her by the shoulders, shook her again, pushing her against the bathroom wall. He then started punching the ceiling of the plane numerous times, okay, prompting Jolie to leave the bathroom. So this is also very important things as well, all right? And Amira just said, private planes are different. And you could very well be right as well. But hey, I will say this, Mary Jane, Therese, I've at least flown first class. Okay. I've done up in the A, Jack Harlow. Anyway, I've been in first class. I've at least had the taste of what it feels like to be upper crust. Okay. On commercial flights. But those bathrooms still small, baby. They still this. It's the same in the front as it is in the back of the plane. Okay? Just saying. But then again, I'm a big guy. Everyone's short to me, and every room is small. Okay? Except this purple ass room right here. Just saying, okay? But let's continue. When one of the children came to Miss Jolie's defense, the court paper said Mr. Pitt lunged at the child, prompting her to grab him from behind. Amid the altercation, Mr. Pitt wrapped his hands around one of the children and struck another in the face. Now, here's that piece that's very interesting, and that's a very important piece right here. I know that there's a lot of people out here going, oh, yeah, she lying. It's another situation. La, 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 la. But if one of the children is coming up and saying, yeah, he done did that, that's big. Now, I want to hear it from the kid. Okay? Personally. But one of the children has stepped out in her defense, in Jolie's defense. So why would she make this up if she has eyewitness corroborating her story? Like I said, questiones for my people. Questiones. Did she just turn to one of her favorites and said, hey, honey, I need you to lie? I don't know. Again, I keep wondering, is this something that is a complete fabrication, or is there some truths in this situation? And of course, another thing, this child, this is Brad Pitt's kid. Why would he lie? Why would this child lie on their own papa? I don't know what gender this child is, but why would the child lie on his own papa? Again, I got to ask the question. Or this kid is just straight up lying. It's there's no in between on this one. It's not like the kid kind of remembers it and doesn't remember that, or it was, the plane was really foggy and dirt was in his eye, so he had to squint and he was leaning to the side, and the you know what I'm saying? It's not that. Broad daylight. This is happening while Pitt is allegedly doing these things. You can't fabricate that, or you can't just sit there and go, oh, I half remember and half don't. You either saw it or you didn't. So either this kid is lying on behalf of his mama, or he's telling the absolute truth. But let's continue. I see it. Nur just said something that's very true. If the mother brainwashed the kids, that could happen too. But she said it could happen. It could happen. But at the same time, you're telling me that Jolie is just turning to the kids and going like a Jedi mind trick. Pitt, Daddy grabbed one of y'all. Daddy grabbed one of us. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I said, questions. I have many questions that hopefully we get figured out here soon. But one of the children has stepped forward. Okay. Again, I'll say this again. In the court papers, apparently Pitt lunged at the child, prompting her to grab him from behind, which is why she got in the middle of this, I guess. Jolie. Amid the altercation, Pitt wrapped his hands around one of the children and struck him in the face, the suit said. Okay? Now, we already know it's been a subject of news media reports since shortly after it occurred. In November of that year, the FBI released a statement saying that it had closed its investigation into the flight and that no charges had been filed. And I'm wondering why there weren't any charges that were actually filed. And the other piece, though, too, is another question. Kid who got struck in the face, kid who got Pitt's hands wrapped around his neck. Are there any bruising, scarring, scratches, etc. that happened? That, did he leave a mark on these kids? Were those things documented? Did any of the kids? There were 6 kids in the plane. Man, that's so terrible. If this is 110% true, this is heartbreaking. You got kids, 2 parents, a family on a plane and this alleged incident happens, I can only imagine how terrified these kids were. All six of them seeing this altercation go down. And that's very, very sad. And if Papa was really drunk, if Papa Pitt was really, really drunk, this is absolutely devastating. Devastating for these kids to witness something like this. But again, I have to ask these questions. Were there any scratches, bruises, hand marks? Was there anything that was documented that could really prove that Pitt did said things? We have to ask these things, right? Now, before I continue, do me a favor, guys. All right. I see you guys out here. And a like don't cost a thing. Please hit that like button down below. Send it past 300 likes. That would really, really mean a lot to me. It helps with the algorithm. It helps with this show. It helps with this feed. That would mean the world to me. So please hit that like button down below. Send it past 300 likes. And if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. I don't know why I just broke into song, but still, please hit that subscribe button. Be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you again. But she's obviously, so Puck News reported this August that Jolie has been seeking information about the FBI's case as an anonymous plaintiff in Freedom of Information Act lawsuit, okay, with the publication, including details of the report. It is unclear whether the heavily redacted FBI report included allegations that Pitt had wrapped his hands around the neck of a child or struck any children. Again, the report included allegations, heavily redacted. It's unclear if within this heavily redacted FBI report had anything included with the allegations of him doing said things to these kids. Okay. So Jolie and Pitt met each other on the set. We already know about all this stuff. Okay. We already know about the movie that got them together, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is weird because it's kind of like allegedly, it seems like a glimpse into their relationship, real talk, near the end, when they find out they're both hired assassins and stuff like that. I mean, I enjoyed the movie when it first came out, but it definitely is interesting to show the some people were saying that it was a very flashy DV movie, basically. And now we're seeing these two going neck and neck, trying to one up each other with all this stuff. But I will say this, though, too. He is trying to one up her when it comes to the legalities of things or the contracts, these NDAs and all that stuff, right? Having control over certain things. Because he's sitting there most likely going, hey, I ain't going to give you half of nothing. I'm still having control over my money and the things that I built myself because I worked my butt off myself for these said things. This is just... And then now she's coming out with more information. She's trying to find ways to expose him for doing said things. And Brad Pitt, as of late, at least, up until now, I'll say that, hasn't really said anything at all. But now he has had some things to say. Okay? He had some things to say. Which is, where did it go? Come on. Right here. It says it right here. So his reps call Jolie's latest allegations about the airplane incident completely untrue. All right. So the countersuit filed Tuesday by actress Angelina Jolie against her ex-husband Brad Pitt includes more information about an alleged physical altercation between the former couple that took place on the plane. We already know that. But a statement to CNN, a representative for Pitt, called the latest allegations completely untrue. Of course, they are battling over Jolie's sale of her stake in the joint French winery Chateau Mirival. Jolie sold her half of the winery in 2021, okay, to a subsidiary of Stoli Group, controlled by a Russian oligarch. Now, he has sued Jolie in February, claiming that he and Jolie had an agreement that neither would sell without the other's consent. That's important. But then she said, hell no. And she sold it anyway, under his nose or behind his back. That's what I meant. Jolie claims in her countersuit that there was never any such agreement and that she sold her portion of the winery in an effort to have financial independence from Pitt and to have, quote unquote, some form of peace and closure to this deeply painful and traumatic chapter of her and her children's lives, or their children's lives. In the court documents obtained by CNN, she also shares more details about the alleged incident on the private plane on September 14th, 2016, 5 days before she filed for divorce. Now, we already know about all this. Pulled her into the bathroom. Before that, he lunged at one of the kids, wrapped his hands around one of the kids' necks, struck one in the face. Then they went into the bathroom. He grabbed her by the head, shook her head, grabbed her by the shoulders, shook her shoulder. Apparently, he was verbally attacking her as well. Because even in this, it says the filing. So this is interesting. So, okay, before arriving to the airport, Pitt got into an argument with one of their 6 children. So this is another piece of information that wasn't in the other article. So he got into an argument with one of his 6 children, who at the time were between the ages of 8 and 15. So the filing goes to allege that on the plane, Jolie asked Pitt what was wrong, and that Pitt went to verbally attack her, and then an hour and a half later pulled her into the bathroom, grabbed her by the head, shook her, grabbed her shoulders, shook her, pushing her into the bathroom wall, and of course punching the ceiling. Okay. Now, a representative for Pitt said Jolie's story continues to evolve each time she tells it with new unsubstantiated claims. Pitt has accepted responsibility for what he did, but will not for things he didn't do. These new allegations are completely untrue. Pitt was not arrested or charged. We already know about that. Now, in response to the allegations made following a flight within the special aircraft jurisdiction of the United States, which landed in Los Angeles carrying Mr. Pitt and his children, the FBI has conducted and reviewed the circumstances and will not pursue further investigation. No charges have been filed in this matter. All parties have had this information for nearly 6 years and was used in previous legal proceedings. There is nothing new here, and serves no purpose other than being a media stunt meant to inflict pain. This continues. All right. Of course, representatives for Jolie said some things, which states that during the plane incident, Pitt allegedly lunged at his own child, and Jolie grabbed him from behind to stop him. To get Jolie off his back, he threw himself backwards into the plane seats, injuring Jolie's back and elbow. The court documents also claim that the children rushed in and all bravely tried to protect each other, and that Jolie and the children sat still and silent under blankets. Oh my God. Nobody dared to go to the bathroom. For this reason, the legal documents state Jolie and her 6 children have not been able to return to Chateau Marival due to the pain Pitt inflicted on the family that day. Many of the details in Jolie's countersuit echo those made in countersuit filed last month by Nouvelle LLC, Jolie's former company. You know, what's interesting is this other information now, because it's terrifying. I mean, let's be real. We got to think about the children too. There were 6 children. There was a full family, damn near the Brady Bunch, for crying out loud. All right. The Partridge Family, whatever show, 8 is enough, whatever it is, those shows, right? All in this plane. You have a bunch of kids, children, 2 parents. They had a tiff. An hour and a half into the flight, something goes off. So much that Brad allegedly lunges towards one of his kids. Jolie has to jump into and try to protect this child by grabbing him. Pitt says, F you. He flings himself backwards, or maybe they lost balance from her pulling him, which ended up her getting injured. Kids jumped in to protect each other, trying to push Papa Pitt off of these kids, off of one of the kids. Then they hid under blankets in absolute fear for the rest of the flight. That's just devastating, in my personal opinion. If, again, these are just allegations, and if these allegations are 110% true, my heart goes out to those kids and how traumatizing that could be. Because think about it. They are in a tuna can whizzing through the air at 35,000 feet in the air. There is no way that they can go somewhere and find salvation and get away from this man, if that is true. All right? They're in a damn tuna can flying through the air. They can't run outside to seek refuge, to seek distance. They're stuck on that plane for 8+ hours. 8+ more hours flying from France. That's a terrifying thing to think about. Real talk. Let's get into... I got a couple super chats and super stickers I need to pull up here really, really quick. But imagine that. And if this is true, again, these are still just allegations. If these are 110% true, man, what was he on? What was going on with Brad? You know what I'm saying? What was going on with Brad? Charlie Miller, thank you so much. Charlie Miller, what's up, man? Thank you so much for the $2 super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Okay? Like, I will forever be scratching my head over this until there's actual, like, proof. I'd love to see some actual proof, some footage, something. Maybe there's a video of the kids showing something. I don't know. I'm just wondering what is going on here. What is going on? Mimi Muddy, thank you so much for the 125. I'll just round it up because I'm a positive person. Thank you so much for the 2. I appreciate the super sticker. Super sticker. I appreciate it. Albus, thank you so much for the 100 again. Thank you, Albus. These things are a pattern of behavior. No, if he was A, there would be a lot of instances that not just one plain incident that she talks about. Angry face. Yes. And the other thing too is I haven't found this yet, but Obviously, they have 50-50 custody over the children. Okay, they have 50-50 custody over the children. If there was any issue with this, if there was proof or these incidents of him actually putting his paws on these kids, why wouldn't she have brought these things up when they were going into their custody battle? This would be fire to throw at him. I don't want him anywhere near my kids. No, I do not want him to have 50-50. I want majority custody over my children, and he'll have visitation rights. That's it. But why wasn't those things brought up during that part? It just seems strange. You know? It's just very strange. So to me, those are the questions I have right now. Okay. Pink Society, thank you so much for the 5. I appreciate it. Well, I worked with private jets. We knew when something happened on flights. So where are the witnesses? You know, Pink Society, that's a damn good question. If something went down, you're telling me that the pilots of that private jet wouldn't know? What about the flight attendant? A lot of those planes always have some sort of flight attendant. You know, would he like an extra pillow? You know, stuff like that. Would he like some salted nuts? They're heated. Like, where's all that? Where's that person? Where's that flight attendant? Just seems strange that they would just be on the plane and then like no one else has spoken out unless these people got paid. You feel me? Unless these people got paid. And that could also be it too. All right. But I thought when it comes to Plank, Boyd just said probably private, but even on these private planes, they still have somebody assisting. There's some sort of flight attendant, right? And then also on top of that, let's talk about just the pilots themselves. Somebody got to fly the plane. This ain't a drone. This ain't a remote control plane. Somebody's in the front, in the cockpit, flying that. So you're telling me while they're flying this plane, they didn't see no or hear no evil going on in the plane? Strange. Unless they got paid. You're a big fan of Brad Pitt, right? And yeah, hey, he's gonna send you a Fight Club autographed movie poster, and here's a couple grand. And can you just sign this NDA really quick? Just saying that you didn't see nothing and hear nothing. We appreciate it, but we'll make sure. Just get it to the assistant over here. He's going to get the information for you on your address and all that stuff. We'll make sure that stuff gets to you. Thank you so much for flying us here. And, if you just keep everything on the quiet, that would be really appreciated. It's just a family matter. It's a family matter. Okay. Enjoy those extra Benjamins in your pocket. Bye. That could happen. That could very well happen. That could very well happen. So it does make you wonder, because son or a child, sorry, not son, but one of their children is stepping up and standing next to his mother. To me, that says a lot too. Because if this was fake and if this was not true, why would said child do said thing? But only one, from what we're understanding, has stepped up to speak out and stand next to their mother. I also heard other stories where he was, where Brad Pitt, because it's not in articles or anything. I've heard other stories where he was basically trying to say, like, call that his kid, one of the kids, looked like one of the kids from Columbine. And that's why the argument kind of started, because I guess one of the kids was emoed out or something. And he had an issue with it, and he was roasting the kid. Allegedly. That's what I'm also hearing as well. through the rumor mill. And I think there are some tabloid articles that have said those things as well. But that's it. So you know what? We're going to do this quickly. And I'm going to say this again so no one gets offended. But I'd love to hear from some new voices. Okay? But I'm opening up the phone lines. All right? Real quick. Opening up the phone lines. And actually, while we get that going, I will be right back in 29 seconds for a quick flash round to speak on it. Be right back. I wanted to create something that we could wear to start a very important conversation about mental health and remind those that are lost in the dark that we're here to guide them towards the light. Suicide has taken so many of our loved ones, and it needs to stop. My hope is by wearing these t-shirts and hoodies, we can stop these tragedies and start some conversations. Remember, you are not alone. Yes, remember, you are not alone. Again, please go check out pascalmerch.com or beautifulbeefcollections.com. We have some really great hoodies and t-shirts readily available. Everything from some seasonal things to some just straight up good looking hoodies like this one that just make you feel good wearing them. We got a 20% off deal on everything in store right now as we speak. So please go check it out. And of course, because we are talking about DV, this month is DV Awareness Month. We have teamed up with the Gabby Petito Foundation and the Gabby Petito's family to create t-shirt and hoodies just like this one that say "Break the Silence." Of course, on the back, it says Gabby Petito Foundation, the Pascal Show logo, and of course, hashtag DV Awareness. A portion of the proceeds is going to the Gabby Petito Foundation. So please go over there, check it out. That would really, really mean a lot. And also, before I open up these phone lines, I know I made this announcement before. I'm going to say it again because I know that there are more people watching this show right now. I have a big announcement. I will be doing a live sit-down conversation, exclusive conversation with Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt, Gabby Petito's parents, live on the show, live and in person. And I cannot wait to share that with you guys. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that because that is coming up. That is coming up very, very soon. I'll let you guys know more details when we get closer to the date. But I'm very, very excited about sharing that with you guys. It's going to be a big, big show, and it's going to be live. So you'll get to ask questions. It's going to be very interactive. I'll be asking questions from you guys in the chats, etc. Of course, I'll be having some very exclusive questions to ask them as well. But this is all, of course, to just understand more about Gabby, more about the case that we maybe never got to see behind the scenes. And of course, just to find out what are they working on right now inside of this Gabby Petito Foundation. So it's going to be big, very, very big. And I cannot wait to share it with you guys. And before I get into this, Nicole, thank you so much for gifting 5 people. Wow, gifting 5 people memberships. All right, welcome to the family, guys. Welcome, Tiffany, Trina, Chris, Dookie, and Leonard. Okay, or Leonard. Okay, thank you so much, and welcome to the family. All right, but like I said, when I get more information, I'll let you guys know about the interview with Gabby Petito's parents. It's going to be a good one. And I think it's going to be something that you haven't seen yet. There really hasn't been any big conversations. There's been a lot of like fluff, but no real like conversation. And I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. Anyway, Interesting. Sorry, I just saw a comment that just kind of grabbed my attention. Hold on. Interesting. Maddox. Paula just said Maddox never accepted BP into their lives. Brad Pitt. He's 100% Anna Jolie's son. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. Interesting. Anyway, and thank you, Nur, for because those bots love to come in, them bots. But I'm gonna open up the phone lines. Like I said, I want to hear from new voices. Okay, what are your thoughts on this? Do you believe that this is real? Like, do you think that she's lying? Do you think this is all a lie? Do you think this is real? Do you think that the accusations and the incident that happened in this plane are the real deal, Holyfield, or is it fake? Okay, or were the pilots, paid off? Were what are your thoughts on this? Give me a call. All right. It's pinned to the top. 314-766-4581. Love to hear your thoughts on this, because this is just this one's a tough one. But I think also with AH, it was a very tough one as well, in my personal opinion. So yeah. Phone lines are officially open. Give me a call. Don't be shy. 314-766-4581. And yeah, right now, one thing that I've also noticed is that Brad Pitt's career has not faltered. He's still making movies. He's still doing his damn thing. There hasn't been any issues for him so far. Same with Angelina Jolie. I mean, she's still out here making movies, directing movies, still being a badass, doing what she does in her movies. I have yet to see anything change for both of them. There really hasn't been anything drastic. Okay. Really. But I'm interested to see what's going on. Okay. And I'm really interested to see what they have to say about all of this. And if this is going to turn into a defamation lawsuit as well coming up. Because if she keeps, it's not like she's going on to her Twitters and, social medias and doing these things. She's obviously just trying to, go at him legally. But it is interesting that all this is happening. And Raven McCall, you're absolutely right. Brad Pitt is extremely well liked, and highly respected in the game, just it's interesting. And Sabrina, thank you so much. I look forward to Pascal's show every day. I watch Pascal before Popcorn Planet. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, out of respect, that's why I try to do my shows before Popcorn Planet goes live, because I know a lot of you guys watch Popcorn Planet as well, and I love that show over there too. So I try not to hop onto them, or if I'm going to do a live, sometimes shout out to Grizzly True Crime. Sometimes I want to hop on in the morning, but then she'll hop on and do a live, and I'm like, damn, I can't go live right now. I got to wait until she's done, because I don't want to be disrespectful to her stream as well. So there's been a lot of, I'm always trying to jump through that time, like a time loop, so that I'm not bleeding over anybody else, out of respect, because I understand this is how the game is, you know what I mean? And I would hope that they return the favor. You see what I'm saying? But okay, nobody wants to call? Nobody want to call? I'm surprised. Okay. I figured somebody would say something. I figured somebody would say something. Wow. Okay. Well, I'll just do that's fine. That is fine. I'll just do a quick poll. I am just going to do a quick poll. F it. F it. I am going to do a quick poll because I'd love to see what you guys think. Very, very simple. All right. Very, very simple. Do you believe AJ or BP? Very, 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 very simple. Okay. Bad girl, yes, I'm very excited. It should be dope as hell. It's gonna be amazing, I hope. I hope it's gonna be amazing. So that's literally what I've been focused on and making sure we got everything, all the ducks in a row, and make sure we got things we need for this specific interview, because again, it'll be it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And like I said, I don't think that there's many interviews. Like, I don't think they've had any lengthy, long sit downs. They've been part of big documentaries and other big pieces that have focused solely on, of course, the case, understandably. But I have yet to see an interview where they just sit down and just talk it out, talk about everything. So I'm very excited about it. It's happening this month for sure. And that's all I could say for right now. I will be giving out information about that very, very soon, most likely in the next show. But I wanted to share that with you guys really, really quick as you guys start to look at the poll that I just pinned to the top. Do you believe AJ or do you believe BP? Very simple. Click either AJ or BP. Want to hear your thoughts on this. Because like I said, it's just a strange, shocking, and thought-provoking situation that is that's brewing. And it's been brewing, but I'm interested to see what you guys think on that. Actually, let me take that down, this call-in thing here. Sorry about that. I got a couple comments here. I want to read some of these. Let's see. Well, Whoopi Rock 1 said, hi, Pascal. Hi, Whoopi. I believe AJ on this. Because everybody who we like have a Pandora box. Shaking my head. Sorry, I was like, what's a Pandora box? But yes, Pandora box. Shaking my head. Yeah, yeah, everybody has a mean streak. Everyone has a temper, to a certain extent. But it's just weird. Jalissa said, I'm sure BP lost his temper, but AJ is for sure exaggerating the incident. She might be exaggerating the incident for sure, but striking a kid, wrapping your hands around another child's neck. Then, of course, there was other allegations of him pouring beer on her and then pouring wine and beer on one of the other kids as well. That. Why would you do those things to your kids? It's your children. But I also feel like I want to see the Carfax. You know what I mean? Show me the Carfax. Let me see that first, too. Tasha said, BP hasn't slated AJ publicly, so I believe him more. You like Angelina, but I guarantee she won't let something go. She slated her exes before, whereas BP has never. That's what I'm saying. That's the other piece. Brad Pitt has not come out and said anything. He hasn't gone out and said, "Oh, well, she did this." He hasn't said anything. All he is doing the diplomatic approach, which is say nothing. Let your representative speak on your behalf. and say nothing. He's not going, well, there was that one time. He's not saying any of that. He hasn't said a damn thing. But that does not make him keep him out of the woods. You know what I'm saying? That does not keep him safe from the possibility of being somebody who has raised his hands not only on just his children, but his wife as well. That says a lot. You know, it still doesn't change anything. But we will definitely see. I think I forgot a super chat here earlier. Ooh, I do have a couple super chats. Hold on. Sorry about that. I totally missed these. Thank you so much for the super chats, guys. Wait, how did I miss? Could have sworn I saw there it is. Tish in Tennessee, thank you so much for the 5. I'm so blessed. My ex and I realized it wasn't going to work, but stayed friends for our son. He's 30 and we are still friends. You know, and I think that's incredibly important because imagine how traumatizing it is for children to go through and witness parents go through a divorce, especially when it's volatile. Especially when the parents are not taking it and doing it in a diplomatic fashion, when it's just they're too busy trying to throw each other under the bus, right? They're trying to one-up each other every single time. The kids are seeing that stuff too. You know, that's traumatizing the children as well. That's not making things better. They're already traumatized at the idea that their family is now broken, and now you're making it even worse on how you're reacting and how you're acting when it comes to the actual legal side of the separation. I feel like people get so in tune with their own emotions and their own selfishness that they forget about the people who get front row seats watching this drama. And then they're instilling that, they're internalizing that, and then they're putting that into their relationships as they get older. It's still traumatizing them. Instead of trying to find the best way and most amicable way to part ways. It's frustrating. But I commend you, Tish in Tennessee, for, you know, trying to stay cool with this. All right? Because I know it can be tough out here. Charlie Miller, thank you so much for the $2 super sticker. I may have said these already. I apologize if I'm saying them again. I just noticed I missed a few in the past. Real quick. Where are they? There's more. I know that. Hold up. Mimi, I think I said this, but I'll say it again. Thank you so much for the $2 because I'm a positive mother lover. Albus, thank you so much for the 100. Yes, we did do this one already. Yeah, I've done that one as well. So I did miss Tish in Tennessee. Now, Charlie Miller, thank you so much again for the $2. Do we have an AH versus JD 2.0 on hand? I don't know. Like I said, this is a strange one, y'all. Because there is at least one child that has stepped up and said, yeah, I was there. And I stand with my mama. I stand with Angelina. And what happened on that plane happened on that plane. I would love to hear if more children will step forward. But we will see. Because it's quite an accusation to have. It's quite an accusation to say without at least having some sort of proof. I will say that. Because, you know, we already saw somebody else, AH, go on the stand, say some things that were, I mean, to me, seemed like they were not the truth. These accusations of being dragged across broken glass, being buck naked, all this stuff, but then still show up to a red carpet event, sans bruises or cuts or scars, seems strange to me. We already talked about the Maker's Mark bottle, but we'll talk about it again. Let's circle back around that cul-de-sac one more again. She talks about the bottle being used. We're not going to go any further on that, but no proof, no medical records of anything. So it makes me wonder what's going on here. Is there anything that was documented to show proof positive that this ish went down, that these kids were harmed? Most importantly, the kids. Yes, it's important about Angelina too, but the kids, the violence towards these children gets me the most as well. And if something happened, did they document it? Did they take photos? I want to see more. I'd like to see more. Oh, and it also depends on how she, if this ends up fully going into court and we see this on camera, etc., kind of like AH and JD, I would love to see how she presents herself and what's said during this trial. Because we figured a lot of things out. We saw a lot of lies exposed in the JD-AH trial. Let's keep it real. But moving on, Tish in Tennessee, thank you so much for the 5. I appreciate it. It could also be there's truth. It could also be that there's truth there. But as time goes, it is a fishy story and it's gotten bigger and bigger. Yes, it has. And I feel like it's just going to get more. This is just the beginning. The engines are just starting to rev up, in my personal opinion. Again, I want to say, Nicole, thank you so much for gifting 5 more memberships. Thank you so much. Caroline, welcome to the family, Caroline, Alan, Matthew, Jade, and Gina. Damn, Gina. Thank you, Gina. And thank you, guys. And thank you, Nicole, for the 5 new memberships. That's 10 memberships on the show today. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. But again, let me close this this poll real quick. All right. And what we have right now is interesting. 79% of you guys believe Brad Pitt, and 20% of you guys believe Angelina Jolie. We only had 96 votes, but at the same time, that's enough to give me the idea that, people are leaning towards Brad right now. Is it because of his persona? Is it because of who he is on camera and in these Hollywood movies? Or is it because of the evidence and the information that we have seen and these allegations, or lack of evidence that we have not yet seen? That is the question that still remains taking room in my head right now, is what really went down here and what is the actual truth. Because let's be real, we need proof. That is a very strong allegation to put out against someone that you spent a good long time with, building a family with, building a home with. It's a strong allegation. But I will say this again, one more time, for those of y'all in the nosebleed seats. His representatives have stepped out. One, not only is he saying that these accusations are completely false and untrue, but he also is saying that he is taking responsibility for acts that he has done in the past, but he's not taking responsibility for what happened on that plane. He's saying that never happened. And the question for me that lingers even more as well in my mind is this: does this mean he has raised his hands on those children and his wife in the past? Or has he not? That's the ongoing question that is going to take rent in my head right now, until we find out more information. Because, like I said, it's strange. And again, Bad Girl's right. And I said it earlier. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are sharing 50-50 custody. If she really felt like he was a violent, volatile human being, why would she give him 50-50 custody? That is something that will still, that to me will still make me wonder why. And I do wonder, maybe it could be out of fear. Okay. Maybe there could have been fear of getting him upset. Maybe his violence, the language of violence that's been, allegedly that's been introduced into this relationship. Maybe he's volatile. We don't know. But it does make me wonder that maybe the violence makes her fearful of him, and she doesn't want that. Or the other piece here too is that Brad Pitt got some real stuff on Angelina as well, and she doesn't want those things exposed. Therefore, she's like, hey, you can take 50-50 because I don't need any more salacious things looming over my head because me blocking you from having at least 50-50 custody. That could also be it too. Let's keep it real. Viola, thank you so much for the Crohn's. 219 Crohn's, I think it's called Crohn's. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. But yes, that could very well be it too. So I don't know. Paula said, there is proof. The CPS report, the interview of the pilots, and FBI reports she is still fighting custody. He should be afraid. Interesting. I'm going to have to look up these the interviews from these pilots and the CPS report, of course, because obviously we leaned this particular show and these articles that I have here have talked specifically on these heavily redacted FBI reports and the cases and this new suit that she is trying to bring in on Brad Pitt, and still leaning on what happened in the plane in 2016. And again, I say, I would love to see more proof. I would love to see some more. But again, maybe he has some stuff on her too that she doesn't want out here exposing her and putting her in a bad light too. Because she's human too. Okay? She is straight up human. She's not perfect. So we will definitely see what happens here, y'all. We will definitely see what happens here as this story continues to grow. And it seems like it's rapidly growing. So we'll see some proof and some truth about what's going on for sure. Okay. Interesting. Hold on. Before I cut out. Relax your ambiance. Okay. Like your channel a lot, and Angelina is no angel, but you need to do some research on DV. She's 100% telling the truth, and very common, and I guess it's very common for women to stay with A's or attackers, and allow them access to A's. Now, that is true. There's a lot of people out here, all right? There's a lot of people out here that are surviving, and they feel like they don't know a better place, or they feel like they can't do any better. There are a lot of people out here that are survivors of DV, that feel trapped, that feel lost, or even when they leave said relationship, they find refuge, they survive and get away, they will feel like that person still has some sort of control over them if their presence, if they ever cross paths with that person again, for whatever it may be, fear, etc., right? So that could very well be what's going on here, that there is straight up DV and she is a survivor, and maybe she is just trying to do whatever she needs to do to try to please him because of fear of what he could possibly do to her physically. That could be it too, right? But I don't know. And then the other thing too is, if there are other incidents, because what his response through his representatives alludes Sounds like there were other possible incidents before the plane incident. It makes me wonder why, if or if there are other incidents, why she hasn't brought up those other incidents in this lawsuit. Why is she only leaning on this one particular plane ride from France to California? It's something to think about. It's something to talk about for sure. But again, I want to see the Carfax. I feel like she would have said more, in my personal opinion. Only one. That's a big incident, though. It's a very big incident, what happened on the plane. I'm not trying to downplay it, but I feel like if no one believes her, and if there are other incidents, maybe those should come out too. I don't know. Again, I don't know. But again, I want to see the Carfax. I want to see more information and more proof and all that. But of course, we will be looking into this more as time goes on. You know, for a fact, we'll be talking about it. The next time there's more information surrounding this particular case, we will talk about it to great lengths. Okay. I promise you that. All right. But it is time to get going. I might be on tonight because there's a very big situation that I want to talk about that is going on overseas that we really need to talk about. And it's the situation in Iran. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, be sure to tune in tonight, because we need to talk about that situation, because we need to bring awareness to that whole protest, revolution, etc. that's happening on Iranian soil. So anyway, guys, it is time to get going. I appreciate all y'all, because like I've told you guys before, I talk about everything on this show. Not only just true crime, not only just pop culture, not only just controversies. We also talk about things that are going on in the world. And this is a very, very big thing that no one really is talking about, y'all. No one is bringing awareness to this story, to this situation that's going on in Iran. It's insane. And we need to talk about this. So anyway, it is time to get going. I appreciate all y'all. Be sure to check out PascalMerch.com. 20% off everything right now in store. So go get you some dope hoodies. It's hoodie season, baby. So go get some. All right. And I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Hit that like button down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because we have real conversations here on this show. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And hopefully we'll see you guys tonight. All right. If not, have a great rest of your day. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.